guys, so we're on our first order. We got a McDonald's order. I think it's $6 for about 6 miles. It does meet my dollar standard. I try to follow unless I'm just really pushing to up my ratings, which I'm not right now at the moment. We're, like I said, we're dashing on Christmas Eve. It's morning. Breakfast is always slow in my area, but I figured today might be a little busier with people wanting to stay home and not have to go out and fool with this weather and this time. I don't really like to drive in this weather, honestly, but you know, didn't really have a lot to do, so why not go make some money? I had to pick up some gifts out for my area anyways, so it's on the way. So hey, we're here. Let's get her done. So this first order is McDonald's. I picked it up. Restaurant had it ready, which was awesome. Now I'm on my way to deliver it. It is 6 miles and it's going to end up putting me out of my dash zone. I really don't like that, but when you're a rural area driver, you're going to see that a lot. You know, it's not like these big cities where 10 miles you're still within a great zone of restaurants that you can still pick up orders back to back to back. But you know, in my case, I don't have that option, so I'm going to take the order and head on and drop it off, and hopefully today turns out good. But thank you guys for sticking with me and watching. I hope you enjoy the videos. Be sure you hit the subscription button and give it a thumbs up. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Alright guys, so this did my second order. Was a Crackle Barrel order. I believe it showed like $7.50 or $8 as the initial tip, and wasn't too bad a distance, but still took me out of my zone. So I got to account for having to drive back into the zone, something you should always consider before you take orders. But it's kind of a slow morning, so I took it anyways, and just completed it. When I completed the screen out, the customer had upped the tip to $11, which was awesome. I made sure to text him through the app and tell him thank you, Merry Christmas. You know, it's the small stuff that really helps people out, whether you think about it or not. You know, I mean, you could make someone's day by doing something like that, and you know, that kind of made my day. He bumped the tip up. I wasn't expecting it. Just something nice. And it's that time of year where people are a little bit more thoughtful, more giving. So it worked out nice, guys. Alright guys, we're on order number 3. I decided to accept. This is a Shoney's order. It's actually not that far of a distance, and it's a pretty decent tip. $8.50 is the estimation. You know, of course, it could always be more than that once you deliver. Also got a notification that the zone has went busy, and DoorDash is now paying peak pay of $1. You know, a lot of other channels have been talking about how they haven't really seen peak pay showing up that often anymore, and that it's kind of went down. It's used to see like $3 to $4. Now you're only seeing $1. But another plus to this drive, we just picked up another $1 per order. It is Christmas Eve. Maybe they're feeling a little bit in the giving mood. They just had their stock open up on the stock market, DoorDash, and seems like it's doing decent. It opened up very high, but it slowly trickled down to a little bit closer range to where it's truly valued at. A lot of people are still saying it's overvalued, but the company's bringing in money, which they should be able to use to build better infrastructure, better order system, and maybe draw in some more customers, you know, be able to compete with Uber Eats and the other competition. So we're going to run pick this order up and head on out. Weather is still getting kind of nasty. We're expected to have some severe ice storms in about 4 or 5 hours. Once I start seeing that ice, I will immediately end my dash and head home. I'm trying to slowly extend my dash as it's available. I started at 9 this morning and let me schedule till 10, then 11. I'm just adding an hour on, just kind of taking this little by little. I don't want to show the company that I'm available when I'm not going to be, because I do intend to leave as soon as it gets bad. Alright guys, so I just delivered the Shoney's order. I had a little difficulty this particular home does not have a driveway, and it's fenced all the way around, and had to go across 2 different streets till I finally figured out they only use the back entrance. So, you know, go figure. It took me a few more minutes than normal, but they were very nice. Finished the order, and as you can see, there was an additional tip on that, which ended up putting us, I think, around 10 something. You'll see that on the side there. So you can't always count on the main screen just because the customer has the option to add to, before the order is completed, they can add to your tips. I've noticed that a lot lately, and I know a lot of us generally skip these small orders. On occasion I have taken them just because I was worried about my ratings, because I'm shooting hard to get that top dasher. I finally broke 200 deliveries, and I'm right on track other than the negative point I got the other day. But that was a different story, a different video. But like I was stating, I took some of these smaller orders that were showing like $2 and $3 just because I was trying to build my numbers up. And a lot of times after I've delivered, they bumped it up with a couple of dollars. I'm not saying it happens every time, but a lot of people don't realize is when there's small orders like that, the majority of the drivers will cancel those orders. They'll skip over them. They'll cherry pick. You know, but I did have a couple of situations, just twice out of 200 some deliveries, where I've accepted orders that only had the base pay for DoorDash, dropped off, and the customer handed me cash tips. You know, I prefer not to do that, especially with COVID going on right now, but you know, hey, money's money, guys. You're out here trying to make money. You got to accept it in all forms, in my beliefs. But I've actually had customers say they don't trust the app. They would prefer to hand you money directly. You know, and I don't have a problem with that side of it. Honestly, a lot of people feel like these apps keep some of the cash or adjust versus what they know you're going to get tipped. You know, it's hard to tell. There's no way we can truly prove it on our end other than the customer telling you directly, hey, make sure you get that $10 tip that I left. I've had several instances where they ask me, did I get my tip? And I'll turn the app on, and when I get ready to complete the order, I'll show them. It says, yes, I got $10 tip. Thank you very much, you know. Alright guys, so we've carried on over into lunch hours, I believe. That's what they designate them. It's between 10:30 and I think 2:30. Or at least that's what I hear most dashers say. Had about a 15-minute gap there, 20-minute gap where I didn't have an order, and then I picked up this order, heading back to Crackle Barrel. This one's a little bit of a drive just because I've ended up on the other side of the town, and I'm gonna have to catch the interstate, which is a quick fix, but it's still pretty good distance. It's just under $1 something a mile. I'm hoping that there's an additional tip at the end of this one, and that will make it worthwhile. But even if it's not, I accepted the order because I'm trying to still build those numbers up. I'm really shooting hard for that top dasher. Not so much that anyone says it's worth it or not, but because I want to try it out and let you guys see for yourselves and get our own opinion.
US 11 south for 4 miles.
Guys, so we're on our way. We picked the order up. Thankfully, Crackle Barrel was ready. It was good to go. In the words of Bentley, already ready. So now we're on our way. This one, like I stated, had a little bit of a drive, but the good news is it's taking me back on the side of town that I prefer to be for lunchtime. So I'm not going to mind this dash too much. It's not that great a pay, but it's keeping me busy and it's keeping me money. So as long as I'm making money, I'm good. Not too bad. This is like order 4, I believe, or maybe 5, and I've made $30. That's a full tank of gas for me in my particular vehicle. So we're off to a pretty decent start. We should be hitting lunch orders pretty soon. This is a late breakfast, so hopefully we'll get here and have no issues and be able to pick right back up with a fresh order on this side of town. Alright guys, so I just dropped that order off. Like I was stating, I accepted it because I had a feeling that the customer would tip more than just the initial, I guess it was $2, $3, not for sure, but I know a lot of us out there like to cherry pick and skip those small looking orders. It's always hard to tell, and I don't blame you. Some of the drives are very long compared to the mileage pay if you were to break that down versus what the tip was. But in this instance, I had a feeling it's Christmas Eve, so a lot of people are more giving, I guess you would say, this day. So I pull up, and of course it says leave the order at the door, but as soon as I pull up, the customer's standing there, you know, waiting on their food. So I walk it up to this person and hand it to her. She ends up telling me Merry Christmas, and she hands me a $5 bill. You know, it doesn't seem like much, but you know, that pushes the order to $10, which is well over $1.50 average, if I'm not mistaken, for the mileage versus where I was driving. So it's tough, guys. You can't make that call just by looking at the very first thing you see, which is the order dollar amount. You know, sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not. It's hit or miss. Alright guys, we just sat for about 15 more minutes, maybe a little bit less or longer, not for sure, but we finally had another order pop up in the system. It's not too bad. It's going to put me on the other side of town again, so a small drive but manageable, and it had decent pay. It was over $1 a mile, which is always good in my book. So we're on our way to pick up an order from Burger King now. Alright guys, so we just dropped that order off. There was an additional tip, but it really wasn't that far. It was already pretty good pay rate, so still pleased with that. And as soon as we dropped off, since we're on this side of town, we picked an order up right away. We're heading that way now. I believe it's Charlie's Steak Sub, another very popular destination in this area. The order seems to be pretty decent. It's not too many miles. It's going to keep me on this side of town where I want to be, and the pay rate keeps me over that dollar per mile ratio, which is very good. So let's go pick the food up. Hopefully it's ready. I just delivered that Charlie's. Like I stated, it was showing, I think it was like $7 or $8. Can't remember off the top of my head, but ended up completing it. You have to forgive me as I'm a little winded now. That was a large amount of steps to that order. But like I stated, I went in under the impression I was going to make $7 or $8, and the customer, after I completed the order, ended up raising the tip value. Ended up getting a $10 tip from the customer, and $10 tip plus the DoorDash put me around, I can't remember, $2 or $3 for the DoorDash. Not for sure if the bonus pay is going on still, but that order ended up being worth like $13 if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look back at the screenshots, but or I'll have them over there to the side so you guys can see. So today has definitely been a giving kind of day from the customers. They've all pretty much, with the exception of a handful, have added to the order tip. I'm assuming it's because it's rough weather. You know, nobody likes to go out in this cold, rainy weather. It's also a holiday. People want to stay home, stay put, enjoy their time off. So I'm definitely appreciative of all this extra income you guys have given me. it's made my day worthwhile. I hope other people are doing just as well as I am today. Truly blessed at this time of year. Alright guys, so we've sat around for about 10 additional minutes, maybe longer, waiting on a new order to pop up. And we get this order. This is a Burger King order once again. It's looking like the other side of town might be the better end to set on, but luckily I'm right next to interstate, so I can make this a short, well, I guess you'd say a quicker drive. But this one's not that great an order. Once again, it's a lowball, but because I'm trying to improve my ratings so I can get that top dasher, I want to get that info for you guys. I'm accepting it, of course, you know, but the dollar value is really not that high. But once again, you can't count these orders out. I've proven it today several times. You know, I'm not going to say it's like that quite often in normal days of dashing, because this is a holiday. People are in a more giving spirit and are a lot nicer, in my opinion, on holidays. A little bit more accepting too. But alright, so for some odd reason on that Burger King order, the distance was way wrong. It had me doing some kind of weird circle loop where there's a highway and another road on the other side, and it just totally had this order confused. It showed me going a couple of miles versus, really honestly, it was less than a minute from the store. I could have almost walked. The difference is just, you know, that much of a difference. It's crazy. I'm not for sure what was going on there with Google app, but I did not get an increase like I was hoping. I thought I would, but we'll wait till he makes it out of the frame. So like I was saying, it ended up being a heck of a lot shorter drive than what I thought. So I don't really expect the customer to have increased the tip on that one, just because it was hardly any distance at all. So that one actually turned out being a lot better than what it was. I ended up just parking in the lot and crossing that street and saved so many miles on my car for doing a big loop. I just don't understand why it was wanting to do that, but sometimes you got to get crafty and creative if you want to keep making that buck.